without further ado, I have to introduce Trevor Jones, Violet Jones, Angela Dalton, and Charmaine Short to talk about the influence of Alotta Money and what he's done and how it's brought us all. It's already we're getting emotional. Lean into it.
Okay, right, is this on?
Check.
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I.
Hi,
Yep.
so thank you everyone for joining us. So I am Charmaine Short. I'm the CEO and founder of Etiverse, that provides Web3 education and NFT marketing. And the man next to me, I'm sure needs no introduction, is Trevor Jones, NFT artist since 2019. Did his very first NFT with Alotta Money, which I'm sure we're going to come on to. Then we have Angela Dalton, who originally has a gaming background. She's the CEO and founder of Signum Growth Capital, and she's going to be telling us all about some collaborations that you've done with Alotta. And finally, last but not least, we have Violet Jones, who is like a movie director, producer, figurative artist, and fine art NFT artist. So thank you for joining us. So first of all, Violet, could I come to you? We all sort of know and love Alotta Money, whether we knew him personally or not. But you were fortunate enough to know him, and he was a warm and kind individual. What sort of memories do you have of him?
He was an amazing person, but he was a little naughty, and everybody who knows him, he was very dirty, very naughty sense of humor, very rarely serious. It was really difficult to talk serious stuff with Alotta. He was an amazing father, very helpful to everyone, very loving. But even when I was trying to pick an image of him to paint for his tribute, I couldn't find a normal picture of him. He had a spliff or bottle of whiskey in every single one, or half-naked lady next to him. And I was like, how do I do this? How do I paint his painting respectfully without including all of that? But you should know that he was as real as one might get, and we miss him so much.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard anybody say a bad word about him. He just embodied the Web3 mindset so well, didn't he? Yeah.
I think I can just add to that he, and I've said that when he passed away March 5th of this year, I organized a celebration of life for him. There was about 4,500 people have tuned in. And one of the things was that he was the only person I knew who was able to navigate through this crazy, volatile, often toxic Twitter NFT art space without being scathed, without being canceled, without being attacked, everybody loved him. And so, there was something very special and unique that he was somebody who could be friends with everybody, work with everybody, and everybody loved him. And I was always in awe of how he could do that, because it's a very difficult space to be able to be loved by absolutely everybody.
Yeah, you tend to find the more successful you become, the more sort of people are jealous and sort of lash out. But yeah, he managed to circumnavigate that. So Angela, so obviously Alotta Money was an OG NFT crypto artist, and he was famous for doing a wide variety of groundbreaking art. He had 3D art, he had programmable art. What can you tell us about his art?
So I was there. I'm sorry. I normally don't get. I'm on stage all day, and I normally don't. Let me just regroup here. Okay.
We actually had a running bet on who was going to cry first, and I had the money on myself. But there you go.
Okay, so artists' work does something to the inside of your body when it speaks to you, and he did a piece on Cathie Wood. So I've been an advisor to ARK Invest and Cathie for many. I've known her for 20 years. Been an advisor to the company for a long time. And his piece of his artwork on Cathie popped up, And I felt like something in my body, like, what is this? Who is this person? And I showed it to Kathy. She hadn't seen it. He didn't, there was no kind of outreach ahead of time. He just did it. And he captured her in this incredible detail that only someone who really knew her would be able to capture. And to me, like, that is, he was just such an incredible artist. He captured the spirit of people, and he did one for Michael Saylor. He did them for a lot of people. He did just a phenomenal job of capturing the spirit of people and of Web3, and what you said about Twitter is so important. I mean, the first time, so I reached out to him cold and I said, wow, I saw this piece you did on Kathy Wood. It was incredible. You don't know me from Adam, but can we do a Zoom? And literally we got on the Zoom and we bonded over gaming because he had a gaming background, I have a gaming background. I came to the space for that, and we started talking about, Zelda and his inspiration there. And anyway, then we started laughing, and we just laughed like the entire Zoom. It's hard to explain, but he said, like, he would just say something, and then I would start laughing, and then I would say something back, and he'd start laughing, and then, and there were no substances involved. I mean, it was just like, or maybe there were on his side. But we laughed hysterically, and that was what he brought, I think, to the space, was this idea that we can all, like, none of this toxicity matters. What matters is collaboration and creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings me on to my next point. So, Trevor, your very first NFT was a collaboration that was ETH Girl, and then you've done other work, but then you've done ETH Boy. So tell us about those.
Yeah, so I started kind of my crypto art journey in end of 2017, and I had my first big exhibition in 2018, and that's when I started to see online. I didn't know anybody in the space as an artist. There was, whether it was Vitalik or McAfee, different types of characters. But Alotta was one of the first artists that I started to connect with, and we were in communication. And I'm an oil painter, and I'm interested in technology, and collaborative work between art and tech. But I didn't understand NFTs, and it took me a good kind of 5-6 months to kind of get my head around it. But Alotta was the one who really kind of helped me, held my hand. He did collaborations with everybody. And our first collaboration was ETH Girl at the end of 2019. And, it just completely transformed my life, and the space itself. It was like a 70 ETH winning bid in 2019. It was unheard of.
They both fell asleep during the auction. They woke up to that.
Yeah, I tried to stay up till 2 in the morning. It was still a bidding war between Motorats and Whale Shark Pro, and at kind of 6 o'clock in the morning, we wake up. I'm like, holy crap. And him and Alotta and I are just screaming. It's like on the phones, like, I can't believe this is crazy. What the heck just happened? So that was my introduction into NFTs, was with him. And then the very last NFT he worked on was with ETH Boy, Chapter 2. And you'll see actually out in the exhibition space, there's a huge exhibition of a lot of stuff. There's a huge banner with ETH Boy on it. And he wasn't strong enough to finish it, so I had to do it myself. And I win the money. But with regards to kind of collaborations, that was something that he only worked on things that he loved, and I think that's really important. He was true to himself. I asked him at one point, I can't remember exactly when, it was after ETH Girl, and I was working on a project, and I said, can you, do this animation work for me? And he was honest. He said, Trev, I don't really like it. I said, fuck you, Alotta. And but he said, I work on things that I love, and that was, I think, you see that in everything he does, that joy, and he always talked about that he wanted to put smiles on people's faces. And every time you look at one of his works, and you'll see 8 screens outside, and everyone, you're just looking at it going like, what the heck was he thinking? This is crazy, and makes me smile and laugh, whether it was a solo project or a collaboration, and there's loads of stuff out there, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is the sign of a true friend, someone who is honest with you, and they're not just sucking up and saying, yeah, it's great, going, no, don't like it. So that's really cool. And you mentioned the exhibition, so Violet, I've been out there. I got a little bit emotional looking at all the artworks there and all the lovely postcard tributes as well. So, I mean, what's going to happen with these artworks after NFT London?
Well, first of all, thank you to everybody who contributed to that tribute exhibition. And it was kind of like a trial run. We were thinking like, will people respond? So it was overwhelming that so many people sent the postcards in a tribute to Alotta Money. So at the moment, we're gonna collect all that art and we're gonna exhibit that at the Castle Party, because last time we had the tribute to him, this time we're gonna have a tribute as well. But in the future, we are thinking about maybe yearly postcard exhibition tribute to Alotta Money, with some form of fundraising for Magis possibly, or other charities that are kind of facilitating like Magis, helping cancer patients and their families. And
yeah, that's a very
stuff like
worthy cause, and we've already raised quite a lot of money, haven't we? So
We raised almost $20,000 after the Castle Party for Maggie's, which is a charity that that supports people with cancer and their families. So it's a great charity.
Awesome.
yeah, I know. Talking about, Angela, you mentioned gaming, and Alotta Money was a very early adopter of the metaverse, because he sort of came into it from the gaming route, and he was a voxel architect. So can you tell us something about, like, he did a bus tour, there was all sorts of wacky things he did.
Oh yeah, the bus tour. I'm impressed that you found out about that. That we did a bus tour between Cryptovoxels, Decentraland, Mirage Gallery, and it was really funny because he helped us design the spaces, and you know, it was basically Kathy Wood, him. It was August Rosdale and Philip Rosdale, and oh gosh, there was one more artist. But anyway, we all kind of took people through the metaverse and took people through Cryptovoxels, and we had a party, and of course he showed up to the Cryptovoxels party with like 1,000 Alottas, you know, and which was a lot of fun. And then the really great thing is we created a button that it still exists, by the way. It's called Signum Arc Gallery 8811, and that's our address, 8811 in the metaverse. Anyway, you go down, so we went down, so we had the first segment at Decentraland, and we put a button at the bottom, like a little pedestal with a button, and that would take you to Cryptovoxels for the party. And we walked down at the end of the party, we walked down in our avatars, and people stood in line. And Alotta and I laughed so hard, so the avatars were standing in line to press the button. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Wait, guys, we can just all press the button at the same time. We don't have to wait in line. So Alotta and I laughed about that really hard. But yeah, so his gaming background was really great. And then he did, you mentioned he did the first 360 piece of art, which was inspired by Zelda, which I bought and then gave back to him, because this is, I mean, I think it's almost like amazing that it happened this way, because I gave it back to him because we were going to layer it and there was all this stuff, and I never got it back. But I go to his wallet and I look at it and I'm like, that's cool. It's right there. But he did so many creative things. So that was a big first. I mean, a lot of firsts with you. And all of your incredible artwork, but he was always pushing the envelope on creativity.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think he was one of the first artists to do Twitter banners, and he gave them away for free to his friends. And Twitter banners is going to be one of the next big trends for next year, so he was way ahead of his time. Yeah. So, I mean, we've all agreed that he was an amazing person, an amazing artist. So, Trevor, what could we all learn from him and the way he lived his life?
Well, he was a pretty spectacular person. He was absolutely ridiculously crazy. But I'll kind of end with, like, when I did the Twitter Spaces celebration of life for him, you know, of course, there's all his amazing work, his innovation, his personality, his ability to collaborate with everybody, to navigate through the space unharmed, you know. But for me, when I organized the Twitter space, I was not like Alotta. You know, I've pissed off people. I've said things that I regret. I've upset people. There's different camps, and, you know, a lot of kind of over the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of things are said that you regret. And so I contacted everybody who I pissed off over the last 4 years and said, like, look, this is an opportunity, you know, and something that Alotta would be really proud of if we can build bridges rather than burn them down. So even Rob Ness and him and I had a massive war for what I have no idea why, but it went on for about a year and a half. And I contacted him and we started chatting, and you know, we're like buds now. You know, he said, Trev, you know, what's is in the past is in the past. You know, this is important, and this is what Alotta would have wanted. And I think, you know, with regards to legacy, it's of course his art, you know, and his innovation and his personality and character, but the ability to bring people together and to say, you know, fuck it, you know, with the things that don't matter, the egos, the insecurities. We're all artists, you know, and we're all filled with that. But I have this tips for artists. You know, there's 8 at the moment. I keep on adding to. There's 81, but at the last one right now is number 81. It says, "Be more like Alotta," and that's, you know, that's his legacy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most people will have memories of sort of tweets or direct messages or anything that they've had conversations with him. I mean, I remember when he did a collab with Angie Taylor, and obviously, you know, I'm Scottish, and so she was Scottish, and he did little Easter eggs in it for Scottish people, and he had a little joke with me about Sean Connery. It was, you know, and it was just so lovely. I think everybody's got stories like that. And Angela, I think you were gathering tweets and messages.
They will
from
be
him.
showing. Hopefully, when we leave the stage, they'll be showing out on in the exhibit. Yeah. Where this was Trevor's idea, but I thought it was a brilliant idea. We collected, you know, all of our favorite tweets, and he had so many funny tweets.
The ones that we could actually post in public.
Post, yeah. And then other people in the community, I asked to send me their favorite tweet when they tweeted something, and he commented, because his comments were hilarious too. So we collected all those, and then we'll also be showing them at the Castle Party in France.
There is also I've gathered a slideshow of pictures of Philippe, the real him, not the avatar. And it's not showing yet, but we're trying to get it up. But there's pictures from him since he was like, two of his childhood friends and I are in constant contact. And they have like an estate that we're, you know, a money lot estate. You know, he's got his 15-year-old daughter. You know, there's a lot of things that we're kind of organizing for him and for his daughter. But there's all these pictures that they gave me. And first off, he was a chubby little kid. You know, but I had no idea how tall he was. Like, you know, you just see somebody online. I didn't even know what he looked like for the longest time. And then once I saw him, then I saw a picture of him standing up next to somebody. He was like 6'5" or something. He was massive. I just thought, you know, he was, anyway. But so there's all these amazing photos of him throughout his life that we're trying to get up onto one of the screens. So do get over there and see what the real Alotta looked like.
This is going to be iterative, I hope, where we keep adding to it. And I am so excited about your painting, Violet. It's incredible. I just, from my perspective, somebody in the artist community said, you know, why wasn't there anything, any sort of a tribute to Alotta Money at the NFT NYC? And that's what really inspired me, because I feel like there's so much love for him. And there's a meme in Zelda. It's dangerous to go alone, take this. And he actually used that for his inspiration for one of his last tweets. But I thought of that one-liner, and I thought, you know what? It makes me sad to think about him being alone, but he's not alone, because we love him, and all that he's created will live and grow, and we have to keep saying his name, and we have to keep bringing out his art.
Yeah, I mean, even, you know, when he knew that he was going to be departing this world, and it was like an artist to the very end. And I wrote an article about him after the CryptoVoxels celebratory party, and I looked on his Twitter account, and he was following 888 people. Angel number, obviously, and 888, it signifies like completion, and it was just so poetic and beautiful. So it just really, it gets you there. I mean, I write about NFT artists all the time, but this is the only article I've ever written. I was in tears writing it. And it's just so lovely.
Just very quickly, because we're running out of time, but this was his last DM to me. And it was about a week before he passed away. I hadn't heard from him for a few days. I said, dude, where are you? I'm worried. How are you? Please let me know. I'm thinking about you as always. And he wrote, hey, bro, nonsense and madness right now. Signing million-euro real estate deals from my hospital bedroom, collecting stomach surprise surgeries. Getting into a private clinic is like getting into a club with 10 pissed pals in swimwear. Big pause on chemo is the good news. I feel so much better since. Many kisses to both of you, my love. So he was just joking and laughing. Even though we had a lot of conversations, he was scared. He knew what was happening, but he never really showed it to, he was always happy and positive, and he was more worried about what you felt and how your how your emotional state was than his. Even in working on ETH Boy Chapter 2, he was always apologizing, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I can't work. I don't have the strength right now. I'm in the hospital. I'm like, dude, fucking hell, it's like, you get better. You get better, I'll sort this out. And he was that kind of person. He never ever thought about himself. He was always thinking about other people.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. And so, as we said earlier, if anybody wants to sort of donate to Maggie's, is there information at the tribute?
No. Maggie's charity, Maggie's Edinburgh. I can Trevor Jones Art Twitter.
Maggie's Any Center, actually, because there are loads of across.
But anyway,
the
we'll have stuff up, and yeah. But
Yeah.
don't forget it's a great charity, and Alotta would have been absolutely over the moon with what we've been able to do in honor of him for that charity.
Yeah.
Let's keep his name alive, and let's revive his art, and let's talk to new people coming into NFTs and tell them who Alotta was, because he built that space, and we owe him a lot.
I know, yeah, because I have this I'm here for the long term, right? And I plan to hold on to my NFTs, pass them to my children, my grandchildren, and I believe that when the history of crypto art is written, there is a timeline already, but I think Alotta will go down in the ages. They'll be teaching our children and grandchildren in art class about what he did, yeah.
Absolutely. Hopefully not everything about him, but...
Yeah, right, so I think we're almost out of time. So I'd just like to say thanks again to our lovely panellists, Trevor, Angie, and
Thank you very much.
Violet.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you very much.